is Tracking the Tropics.
Welcome to the Friday the 13th edition to Tracking the Tropics. We are tracking potential tropical cyclone 9, which is forecast to become a tropical depression or even a tropical storm later today. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm digital reporter Daisy Ruth, and I am joined, of course, you can see in the top boxes, by Storm Team 8 meteorologist Julie Phillips and also Amanda Hawley. And guys, I said this was the Friday the 13th edition of Tracking the Tropics, which sounds pretty ominous, but that might not be the case as this storm continues to trend farther east. Amanda, is that the case?
It is the case. We're still talking about a very unorganized system sitting over the Bahamas right now. It's just an area of showers and thunderstorms at this point. Sustained winds are only at 30 miles per hour. So again, still not a depression, still not a storm, definitely not a hurricane out there. It is just an area of showers and thunderstorms. We are expecting it, though, to develop. It does still have a high chance of developing, which is why the National Hurricane Center is deeming it potential tropical cyclone, and that's just allows them to issue tropical storm watches and warnings, which we do have in effect for the Bahamas as well as the east coast of Florida now as well. So this is the latest cone. This is the 11 o'clock cone from the National Hurricane Center, and it has trended farther to the east, as Daisy had mentioned. Models are continuing to keep this system offshore, but they do continue to develop it. We do think that it will become a tropical storm sometime tomorrow morning, and then as the center stays offshore, we think that it will maintain that strength, staying a tropical storm, and then kind of recurving out to sea, out into the Atlantic by early next week, potentially, getting even stronger as it stays over open water. But that's a long ways away. Right now, we're just talking about an area of showers and thunderstorms that has a good chance of developing into a tropical storm. That name would be Umberto, and we do think that that will happen sometime tomorrow morning. But at this point, still not a whole lot of changes from what we had yesterday. A little bit of model consensus here. I'll let Julie kind of talk about the spaghetti model. She's been watching these yesterday as well. And, we're still seeing a spread, Julie, but, a little bit of they've all trended back to the east.
Yeah, they are starting to trend a little bit farther east. We noticed that with the European model about 2 days ago, and that was really kind of the start of the trend on Wednesday evening. And now we've been seeing other of the models also showing the same thing, a little bit farther east, staying off the coast of Florida, right along the east coast with this system. And so we're expecting probably at their evening cone update to maybe even see that track trend a little bit farther east as well. You can see our spaghetti model plots currently. There's always a few outliers, but you have to look at the consensus of them, and you can see your eyes are kind of drawn to where the bulk of the models kind of bring this along or near the east coast of Florida as we head into the upcoming weekend, which would just be tomorrow. So again, this is a short period of time, so not a whole lot is going to change in that time period. So a decent amount of certainty with the track at this forecast. I know past storms, the National Hurricane Center says we don't have a lot of certainty. This system we do have a good bit of certainty with as we head into the upcoming weekend.
And another thing to note, too, we're not talking about, a major hurricane developing here. We're talking about a rather weak storm. Most of the models in the near term, as they bring it closer to shore, they keep it weak. They keep it a tropical storm here. So, if you're worried about your weekend plans, I put the probability of seeing tropical storm force winds, and at this point along the west coast of Florida, very, very low. Even as you get up into the southeast coast, low at this point. Maybe a little greater near southeast Georgia, maybe Charleston, but still the highest probability is going to stay offshore. We're still just talking about just a relatively weak system, which is good news for everyone thinking about their weekend.
So moving into thinking about the weekend, and as we can see here, what are the effects that we might see here in Tampa, Julie? Is this going to be a washout of a weekend for everybody who might still kind of be recovering from the threat of rain on Labor Day weekend, maybe had canceled plans there?
Well, the good news is we were expecting a higher rain chance. We thought we'd have some deeper tropical moisture moving in. But at this point, since that deeper tropical moisture is actually maybe going to get its act together and stay east of Florida, remember the western side of these systems actually can help bring in drier air. So for this weekend, if you live in the Tampa Bay area, expect a classic summertime weekend for us. We'll have a couple of afternoon showers and storms Saturday. But I think by Sunday and then into next week, we actually have much drier air moving in. So not too unusual for this time of the year. You'll wake up, it'll be warm, hot into the afternoon. And then again, if there is an increased rain chance at all or any gusty winds, that will likely be limited to the far east coast of Florida. So even if you're in Polk County, even if you're in Highlands County, you're not going to be feeling any impacts from this system. So important to remember, don't expect to see them. Some afternoon thunderstorms that we typically do after the heating of the day, of course you're going to see some of that.
And even, Julie, we were talking yesterday about potentially, like we saw with Dorian, being a little drier on Sunday because we're going to be on that western side of the storm pulling in some dry air. So something to note for the weekend.
Yes. Now, guys, as I'm looking here at our Facebook comments, WFLA top fan Alan Cayley says Dorian in tropical storm form. I'm not sure about that. Dorian was a powerful hurricane. And is this something folks on the east coast of Florida need to start preparing for, start worrying about?
Not really. I mean, again, sometimes when we're talking 5-6 days out, a lot can change with the system. We're talking about tomorrow, and then Sunday, this is already gone. So by tomorrow, this system could maybe be a tropical storm. It's not even a depression yet. So this is just a cluster of thunderstorms. So maybe this system could be a tropical storm by tomorrow, and would likely be off the east coast of Florida. And then if you're on the western side of that, you have less impact. So even the east coast of Florida, I mean, if you live right on the coast, you can maybe bring in some of your outside lawn furniture, something that might blow over, close the umbrellas, minor preparations like that, as if a thunderstorm was coming through. Not always a bad idea, but nothing major needs to be prepared for at this point.
Now, Amanda, we have a lot of folks actually saying poor Bahamas, talking about the Bahamas. Can you talk about what the Bahamas may be seeing here?
Yeah, I'll go back to the satellite so you can see this. These are clouds and showers and thunderstorms. That's the cluster that we're talking about, the big red one kind of in the bottom right there. That's where the center-ish, if you could say that, of potential tropical cyclone 9 is. It's just a very broad area of low pressure right now. Again, the hurricane hunters have kind of been in there, but the Bahamas are experiencing showers and thunderstorms at this point. So, gusty winds, heavy rain, but, when we're talking about a tropical system, we usually see enhanced rainfall. Tropical moisture usually brings out a little more rain than otherwise. And the islands that were most affected by Dorian, they are already seeing outer showers and thunderstorms from this disorganized area. So yes, they are experiencing it. They're going to experiencing it through today and tonight at least before this thing kind of pulls away on Sunday.
So going through our Facebook comments here, top fan Mike Green says rain, rain. Hopefully we won't be seeing any of that rain. Julie, as you mentioned, we will be drying out. Anne Marie Adams, another top fan, says thanks for the update. And we can kind of see some other, there are some other systems that the National Hurricane Center has on their map. Guys, is that anything else that we should be looking at right now?
Definitely always something to look at. We're always tracking everything because there's a lot of uncertainty when you go a week or two out. There is one other area of interest that we are watching out in the Atlantic right now. It's still in the eastern Atlantic, so it's pretty far away from the coast right now. We're keeping an eye on it. The very, very long-term models not bringing it as too much of a threat for Florida, so it's still a really long time away. So basically, all we can say right now is we are tracking it and watching it, but there's nothing imminent that we're overly concerned with. There's no actually named storms out there yet, just some clusters of thunderstorms.
Now, do we think that we are going to see more named storms this season? Yes, yeah. Absolutely. There are models that are very active over the next 16 days, but nothing that is a threat to land at this point.
Everybody, as Julie and Amanda both noted, we are tracking everything. Right now, we are tracking potential tropical cyclone 9 that is forecast to develop here into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. Guys, is there anything that we forgot that folks need to be looking out for this weekend?
I think at this point, just continue to watch. I said it yesterday. This is something that we're watching. We're going to continue to watch it as we head throughout the rest of the day today and tomorrow to keep you guys updated, but I don't foresee any major changes. If anything, we're actually going to see a trend farther to the east, which would mean less impacts for the state. So something to keep in mind over the weekend, keep an eye on it, check back in, but otherwise, this is not a big deal, as I would say.
Yeah. I think Amanda is pretty much right on the mark with that one. This is just something we're watching. It's just a reminder that we're in the peak of hurricane season. The actual peak is just the day, but the month of September is really, really active. So there are going to be other things that we're watching and we'll continue to track for you and keep you updated on. But at this point, it is a good trend, again, for the U.S. with the system staying offshore. And it's supposed to probably stay fairly weak in that regardless.
Well, all right, everyone, this has been Tracking the Tropics. As we have all mentioned, we will be with you for the rest of hurricane season, tracking whatever is going on here in the Atlantic, in the Gulf. So we will be staying with you on Tracking the Tropics, and we will see you tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, unless something major develops. So for Storm Teammate Meteorologist Julie Phillips and Amanda Hawley, I'm Daisy Ruth. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you for watching Tracking the Tropics.